Good morning, boys and girls. All right, we are coming almost to an end with the one and only Bob. Let's check this out and let's see what's going to happen. Is Ivan going to, well, Ivan just woke up. Are they going to be able to find the missing animals? Are they going to be able to get the animals back in the cage? Is there another hurricane or another storm coming? I don't know. Let's check this out. Looking. Ivan used to ask me what I did when I wasn't hanging out at the Exit 8 Big Top Mall in a video arcade. I wasn't like the rest of the animals, caged and trapped. I told him that I was scrounging for food, and he never questioned it. When you think about it, though, where's a better place to find food on the floor of a mall at the end of the day? Yeah, I wasn't looking for food. I was looking for her, for Boss. What if? At first, I didn't admit it to myself. You know how hard it is when you wish for something so bad you're afraid to say it out loud because what if it never happens? It was like that. I knew the odds were crazy long. I knew I was nuts. And yet, I went out day after day searching for her. 6. There had been 6 of us in the litter. So why was I the only one looking for her? Because it was her bark that I heard. After the box landed, even after the truck roared past, I heard it. A whimper, a bark, a howl, a cry, something I've never heard since. She survived. At least at first. I survived. The rest of them did not. Relieved. And what did I do when I heard the bark? Did I run toward it? Did I find her to save her? No, no. I was just a few weeks old, helpless, useless. The cries stopped almost as soon as they started. And you know what? Part of me was relieved. I didn't want to have to go back onto that highway. I couldn't bear wanting to rescue her and not knowing how. I didn't want to see her die. But mostly, I was afraid. Coward. I was afraid. A coward. There were a certain freedom that comes with owning your own faults. The wind. Every day I went looking for Boss, up and down the same barren stretch of highway. Sometimes I'd catch a hint of something hopeful in the air and think it was my sister's scent. I'd be certain for the breeze that I had brought me her voice, like an invisible gift. The wind can really mess with your head. Enough. After a while, I stopped going to the highway, stopped looking. It was a relief to give up. I had enough to worry about. My paddles. As I run from the park, I keep hearing my sister's yelp in my head. Still, with every step, my doubts grow. Sometimes we hear what we want to hear. The animal shelter is close, just down the street, but there's nothing quick about that trip. Water rushes past like a raging river. The sun's been swallowed by black clouds. I pick my way through the muddy front yards, avoiding the worst of the water. I ain't much of a swimmer. It doesn't come much in my line of work, though I do a passable dog paddle. The problem is my paws are tiny. Not much to work with when you're fighting a flood. I see a couple humans with flashlights carving tunnels in the sheeting rain, but mostly the street seems eerie and abandoned, especially after the chaos of the park. The shelter is at the bottom of a slight hill, and rain's pooled outside the front door, despite a pile of sodden sandbags. A police car is out front, parked in an odd angle. I find some footing on a large rock near the door. It takes me 3 slippery tries, but I manage to leap onto the topmost sand. I bark. I bark with all I've got. But I might as well be voiceless. Between the wind and the rain and the howling animals begging for escape. Inside. I pause to listen. I hear humans shouting, and I can make out what sounds like a police radio chatter. But I do not hear Boss. I am right here, right at the source, nothing. It wasn't her bark I heard. She's dead. And I'm crazy and hearing things and drenched and shivering. And where is Julia? Where is George? Hey, little guy. The door eases to open just a crack. Every bone in my body, every smart part of my doggy brain says run. This is an animal shelter. A flooding one, apparently, and my sister isn't here, and I still have to find George and Julia. That was the answer to the question yesterday. The door moves. Swoop. A loop comes down around my neck so fast at that moment I didn't even know what it was. It's like a cowboy's lasso, the kind of an old Western movie that I used to watch with Ivan. But this lasso at the end has a long metal handle. At the end of the long metal handle is a man. Stay calm, buddy. The man eases me gently but firmly off the sandbags and through the door. I'm inside the Bow Wow big house. The hound pound. The pet pokey. Oops. The return of Snickers. A man pulls me along with his lasso. I decide not to argue. We enter a small room stacked with animal-filled metal cages, and I'm assaulted by howls and hisses. The cold water on the floor sloshes as we walk, just skimming my belly. As bad as my smeller is, I instantly pick up on one distinctive odor. It's like the world's worst perfume, the kind old ladies emit, the kind people spray on their dogs to camouflage their lovely dog stink, the kind Snickers was. I catch a glimpse of her in a cage, wrangled bow in her droopy hair. Snick baby, fancy meeting you here, I say. You look good behind bars. Harebrained, she replies. Hey, calls a rabbit two cages down. What's your language? Mac couldn't deal with you? I asked Snickers. He brought me here because he thought it would be safer. He may have been mistaken, I say. Carefully grabbing my scruff, the cowboy lifts me onto the upper cage, and he pulls the lasso loose and shuts the barred door. I am not happy, but it's a relief to be out of my noose. Oh, great, another one, calls a woman wearing tall rubber boots. She pauses at the doorway. I thought we were turning people away. People, yes, says the cowboy, but this pup came solo. Tick-tock, folks, says the older, ruddy-faced officer. He's holding a radio in one hand and a flashlight in another. You're running out of time. We hear ya, but first we gotta move everybody who's on the lower level. Boots sighs. Last hurricane, we had 2 feet to deal with, and I swear they are getting worse. Climate change, says the officer. What are you gonna do? More than doing, says Boots. That's is much for sure. I'll move the dogs from room 2, Cowboy offers. There were only a couple on the bottom level. We're out of cages, though. We have to double up. I put the little female in with the new guy, says Boots. They look like twins. I'm shivering, and it's not because I'm cold. I press my hurt nose toward the metal bars. I smell something. I do. I hear something. I do. Cowboy returns, dog in arms. A bark. That bark. The door to my cage opens. Hey, I say automatically, even as my heart is whispering the truth to me. They call me Bob. They call me Boss, says the voice. But by now I know, of course I know, and I'm howling with joy. Who did Bob just find? There's a picture right there. Who? Alive. Thunder claps, shutters fly, windows rattle, water rushes, dogs whimper, cats howl, and people yell. And all I can hear is my sister's voice. Catching up. We lick each other, sniff, yelp, circle, wrestle. Neither of us was ever the touchy-feely sort, but sometimes you just gotta let it all out. Wow, says Cowboy, watching us. You'd think they would know each other. Tough. Boss isn't anything like I remember. She's scrawny and flea-covered. Her left ear has a big notch in it, and her fur is dull, and her body scarred, and her tail cut short. I'm afraid to ask how it happened. She has clearly had it tough, really tough. I thought I heard your bark, I say, but then it stopped. I figured I was crazy. I was napping. In this chaos, I ask? I can sleep anywhere. It's a gift. Boss nibbles on her toenail. Funny thing is, I've been having dreams about you. I must have caught a whiff of you in my sleep. I can't stop staring. Boss, here, with me. What? If she asks when she catches me looking at her. I was just wondering about your life. Do you have, anybody? You mean humans? Nope. She gives a little flick of her stubby tail. Never have, never will. You been on your own this whole time? I flash on my cushy bed, my lovely food bowl, the way everyone knows just how I like my ears scratched. Yep. How'd you end up here? I was out scrounging for food, just had another litter, and I was tired, off my game, and animal control got me. She licks the nasty cut on her front paw. Wait, my ears perk up. So you have puppies? That would make me an uncle, a dog uncle, on top of being an honorary elephant uncle. I had the last batch 7, maybe 8 weeks ago. She scratches at a flea. Last batch, I repeat. You mean you've had others? Yep. What happened to them? I don't know. It's like they come home for the holidays, Bob. Boss lies down to the old towel lining our cage. Or shall I call you Rowdy? She considers. Nope. No, I like the sound of Bob. Me too. Anyway, Bob says, mostly they're dead, I guess? I never knew, though. Maybe a few of them got rescued. She says so matter of fact, so she resigned. This last letter, well, I thought I was onto something. I found this little car, and you know those ones that look like a big old bug? Abandoned, right down to the creek near the bridge. Easy access through a hole in the floorboard. Blanket in the back seat. She pauses. All the amenities. How many puppies, I ask? 3, but only one survived. A male. The other 2 were pretty sickly, and Something crashes in the front office, and it sounds like a window has broken. We gotta get out of here, an orange-striped cat howls. He throws himself against the front of his cage and then pokes out a paw, grabbing for the latch. I'm too young to die! When they caught me, Boss continues, ignoring the cat. I barked for the puppy to sit tight and wait. I told him that I would be right back, she sighs. Nice. The last thing he'll ever hear was a lie. Wait, his name? The puppy? She looks at me as if I asked her if she's ever been to the moon. I don't name them, Bob. It just makes it harder. Below us, the water's slowly rising, filling the empty lower cages. We watch the humans rush back and forth, carrying buckets as if they can stem this tide. There's nothing to do, nothing to say, and nowhere to go. Not right. I stare at my sister and trying to imagine all the pain she's endured. And here I thought I've had the raw deal. To lose your pups, to wander alone, to struggle for every drop of water and every crumb of food. I mean, I've experienced that a little, but Ivan and Stella kept me going. And then, Julia and her family. Why me? What's so special about me? It is really that I am more resilient, that I've made my own luck. I am somehow better than Boss, more deserving. It's not right, I blurt out. Not right that you should have had it worse than me. Well, if you want to talk about not right, you and I both had it a whole lot better than our siblings, Boss says. I will never forgive those people for what they did to us, I say through the clenched jaws. Really? Boss seems surprised. If I held on to that much anger, I would never get out of bed. Not that I ever really had a bed. She sniffs at the towel beneath her. This towel's kind of nice, actually. I look at her in disbelief. Oh, you're one of those. Those dogs must forgive no matter what types. She almost looks amused. Well, it is kind of our thing, right? When someone does something hurtful, they have to admit it. And then they have to be punished for it. And then maybe if I apologize and change, well, maybe, then they'll be forgiven. All I know is I've done a lot of bad stuff in my life, Bob. I have to forgive myself plenty, just, you know, to get through the day. Bob gazes at me with her wise, weary eyes. And I figure if I'm going to forgive myself, then I better be ready to cut everybody else some slack too. Evacuate now. Look, says the officer, you have to evacuate now. It's mandatory. We can't just leave these animals. Cowboy sticks his finger into the orange cat's cage. The cat rubs against it, purring like his life depends on it, which it might have, kind of. The officer sighs. You don't have a choice. We can't just leave them here, says Boots. I have to applaud her enthusiasm, as though I wonder if she'd risk her life for us. There's no explaining humans. Just got word the bridge over the Big Fork Creek collapsed, says the officer. We gotta move. Boots snaps her fingers. Wait, you have a cop car, right? Yes, I have a vehicle, ma'am, says the officer. But the way to the roads are looking probably not for long. Okay, says Boots. So we evacuate. We evacuate every last dog and cat and gerbil that we can get into your car. The officer purses her lips. And where are we going to take them exactly? A shelter at the high school. That's where they've been sending people. They're really not set up for it, but once we started flooding and the elementary school stopped taking pets, they agreed to do what they can. The officer grumbles, considers, go for it. The three humans load cats and dogs and parakeets and hamsters, one after another, into the police car. Some are in cages, and some, including a couple of unhappy cats, are at tug-of-war strings. Finally, it's your turn. Looks like there's 9 of us left. The car's full and then some, the officer reports, struggling to shut the shelter's front door against the rising water. We're officially out of room. Cowboy looks at us, his eyes teary. Don't you worry, fellas. We'll be back. He sniffles. I promise. You think we could just leave the cages open and give them a fighting chance, asked Boots, in case, Sure. But they can't handle this current. I can barely stand up in it. Cowboy shakes his head. Look, I'll borrow my brother's bass boat. We can be right back. Hopefully the water won't get much higher than this. Okay then. Boots gives a grim nod. Stay calm, friends. Like it's an option. Preparing for the worst. The wind slow for a moment, and the room goes silent. We stare at the black pool slowly swallowing the cages below. The chew toy, shaped like a pink turtle, floats past. It's just us and a whole lot of water. I check out the group, 2 cats, 1 bunny, 6 dogs, including Snickers, Boss, and me. There's nowhere to jump, no tables, no cabinets, no space above the upper cages. And, as Cowboy pointed out, the current is probably too strong for us to tackle anyways. Folks, don't give up hope. You heard them. They're coming back for us. No way are they coming back, says a sad-faced Beagle Mix. Give me a break. You never know, I say. I'm such a lousy liar. Oh, yes, we do, my sister mutters, just loud enough for me to hear, and then we share a look. Look, the chances are the water will not go too much higher, I say. But, just to be on the safe side, pile up anything you have in your cage. Bowls, toys, towels. Who died and made you a pack leader? A big mutt with a graying snout. Well, it beats howling like babies, I say, and instantly I remember landing in the stretcher's domain. Howling like a baby is exactly what I did. A dog had a biscuit this morning bigger than you, says. I had a dog biscuit bigger than you this morning, says a gray muzzle. Well, what about me? Someone squawks. Does the bunny get to vote? Hold on, Thumper, says the orange cat. This clearly is a job for a higher feline intellect. No, a sharp voice rises from the den. Listen to Bob. He's annoying, and his hygiene leaves a lot of us to be desired. But I've seen him get himself out of all kinds of scrapes. Thanks for the props, Nick, I say, especially the kind words about my odor. The wind groans, and something metallic hits the side of the building. We fall silent again, waiting for more. The windows rattle. The walls shudder. It's like the building is as scared as the rest of us. So Snickers says, breaking the gloom, "You heard Bob? Start stacking." "How about my litter box?" asks a small white cat with dark green eyes. "Would that work?" "Sure," I say. "Use anything. The goal is to get as high as you can. And then what?" "Worst case, we swim for it." "That's actually not the worst case," says the bunny. No one asks what it is because we already know. A question. We do all we can, which isn't very much. The rain hammers, the wind shrieks, and sirens are coming down and go in the distance. I wonder if Ivan and Ruby, what are they doing? And what about George and Julia? Where are they? How are they? Boss seems scary calm, tough as old jerky. She looks the way I want to feel. Before long, the water is lapping onto the floor and onto our cages. It's ice cold and moving quick, 1 inch, 2. Every now and then someone whimpers or moans, but mostly we're quiet. If you can stand on your hind legs, guys, do it. Climb on anything you got, I suggest. I turn to Boss, and when I say go, I want you to climb on my back, and it'll buy a little bit of time maybe. No way. Please, I need you to do this. Boss just stares at me. She's so thin, I can see every rib. To make it up to you, I add. What are you even talking about, Bob? I look away. I'm really sorry, I say, not sure where my words are taking me. I should have saved you, Boss. Saved me? The thing is, I heard you on the highway, and I should have. My voice trails off. I stifle a little sob. Bob, we were puppies, tiny puppies. Don't be ridiculous. How exactly were you going to save me? I don't know, but I should have tried. We both did what we had to do. Boss nudges gently. Bob, this is crazy. I can't seem to forgive myself. I whisper it, but I know she hears me. Beneath the water, I feel a paw on mine. I forgive you, okay? Not that you need it, mind you. One condition, though. I nod. Wait. You have to forgive yourself, too. Again, I nod, and slowly but surely, find something fine and warm begins to fill my heart. Last chapter. Romeo. Before I can say anything, Snickers calls my name. Bob, dear? There's something I think you should know. Bob winks at me. Listen up, brother. Sure, Snickers, I call. What's up? Snickers makes a little throat clearing noise. I've kept this lock inside all this time, but now I'm facing the end. I feel like I need to unburden myself. Really, Snick? I say quickly. There's no need for that. The thing is, Snickers pauses for a dramatic effect. I love you, Bob. I always have. I love the way your cute little tail gets all curled up between your legs when you're embarrassed. I love the way you hum to yourself when you chew your Kimble. I love the way you drool when you take a nap. I think I'm getting the picture, Snick. Thanks. That's really awfully nice of you to say. Anne, Snicker says. Boss can't hide her amusement. Go ahead, Bob, she whispers. What can it hurt? We're all gonna die anyway. Bobo, Snickers calls. Yeah? Sure. I think you're pretty swell too, Snick. And what is that you love about me? I close my eyes and I take a deep breath. Well, those pink boots of yours, those are really cool. And I swear I'm trying, but I'm totally drawing a blank. In fairness, the water is up to my belly and my teeth are chattering so loud that I can't even hear myself think. Oh, come on! How hard is it? Yells the bunny, who's perched on a pile of wet Timothy hay. She's a looker, and she's smart, and she's way too good for the likes of you. Try that, Romeo. You're a looker, and you're smart, and you're way too good for the likes of me, I repeat. Snickers lets out a content sigh. That wasn't so hard, was it, boss? Asks. I groan. Sis, you have no idea. And we're going to stop right there. Okay, good luck with the 3 questions. I hope that you read this in a quiet spot. Please make sure that you answer the questions in complete sentences because guess what? I know you can. All right, bye.